Hey, what's up, Westside Production? This is Riley, and we have some special guests here today. We have Cole and Eli.
Hey, Riley.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. So today we're going to review the song Breakthrough from last Sunday, August 7th. We're just going to review the video, go over notes for cameras and director, and just try and get the production elevated. So with that, let's go.
Those transitional shots, what I'd like to see happening is like a pan right. Rather than moving towards the stage, we're going out towards the audience.
I'd be faster on that movement 3. And add movement here 4. Just watch your headroom there 4.
Like that is just like too fast going from the drums to that shot.
Mm-hmm. So 3, I started your movement a little bit sooner. Once you hear that ready 3, start it and then go. Don't wait until you're live and then start the movement.
I would totally agree with that. This totally may be my personal taste, but I think for me, this has felt the energy has felt very linear. Like, I haven't seen that growth, and as those dynamics are happening, it'd be great to see even like the speed of movement or how it's moving to kind of build and grow with the dynamics, so that way as we're watching we can kind of feel that energy, which is what we're trying to capture of like in the room, how we feel. So like here, those drums, every time we see that, I love this shot, but I'd love to see, like, as it gets more intense, let's get close in on those drums and let's see more of that energy rather than bringing back that same shot every time and staying more stagnant.
I totally agree. Like we started fast, we're still moving through fairly quickly, and it's the same drum shot every time.
And like this move in.
Beautiful shot. Great with the lighting and everything. I'd like to see camera 1 getting a little bit tighter on these like big loud moments with Eric. Great movement there on the mobile. The other thing I want to note, I know that Eric's on stage. I know that I see, our other guitar player on stage, and I know there's a drummer. Everyone else, I have no clue. I didn't see very many shots of anybody else besides those 3 people. There were some. I will say there are some. There's wide shots. But we really didn't see very many shots of a bass player. We didn't see any shots of a keys player. But all those instruments are still being heard in the mix. Like the ratio of drum shots to other instrument shots is just skewed. And I think that's just a matter of how we've been training mobile cameras to begin with. Especially on stage, we don't want our mobile camera just like running around constantly back there. But if we know of places in the song where it's like, this is where we want a bass guitar shot, this is where we want a keyboard shot, which we do sometimes during intros. But also, even in regards to the front line, we didn't get all of our vocalists in, except in wide shots. And even our lead guitar, we're still only seeing a few shots, as well as our rhythm guitar. It's, all the guitar shots kind of end up looking the same, but having options in terms of seeing them worship on stage is a cool thing to show. One, for the people that are in the room, putting it up big could be great, but especially for people that are watching online.
Right. Yeah. So for mobiles, for all cameras, for that matter, we put out camera notes every week that are very, very detailed in terms of what's going on in the song. It explains like who sings, where they sing in the song, who plays what guitar, all this really important info that you can listen or look at going into this. That way you're more prepared. Like, okay, I'm hearing this guitar part in the song. It's a lead guitar part, so I know Carson is playing this guitar part because of the camera notes. So I'm going to go to Carson and get that shot picked up. And because of where he's at on stage, Mobile 2 or Camera 4, like, you guys are on that part of the stage, it'd make more sense for one of you to pick up that shot. Obviously, we don't need to have both of you on that shot, so if one of you sees that the other is having it and it's live, pick a different shot. That way we have more variety.
Right.
And then Camera 5, I have an idea for you I'm wanting to get implemented. So what I've seen Bethel do in a bunch of their videos, they kind of dart around. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So they'll start at the drummer's face.
Yeah, you're talking about like whip pan stuff.
Yes, exactly. So they'll start the face, very quickly go down to the drums, stay put there for a second, back up to the face, cut to next shot. Very, very quick movements, but it looks good. Like, instead of having the same shot like Cole mentioned earlier, put variety in the shots. Don't keep it the same one every time. Same goes for 5 and 1. That's what I noticed. One, if you have the same waist-up shot with very subtle movement every time, it gets kind of stale. So if you do the occasional, like, slow pan from left to right or right to left, or even do a full, like a slow zoom or pull, whichever you want to do there, that way it makes it look more fresh. Like, if I were to go from camera 1 to camera 5 and then back to 1, if one is doing a whole different movement there, it looks more intentional and looks like I didn't just come from that shot and go right back to it, because you're adding that movement and making it look like a whole different shot. Like, that's what we're looking for there, instead of having just straight up almost static the entire time.
I think if you go into running a camera and you're like, I have 10 shots in my pocket that I know that I can rotate through and use in every single song, basically. 10 should be your minimum. I think we used to say when you're starting out, you should have 5. If you've been on for more than a year, you should have 10. If you've been on for a long time, you should have 30. Like, you should have a lot of shots. There's a lot of shots you can get in terms of stylistically, how am I moving my camera? Is it a push? Is it a pull? Am I doing that floating type of handheld look that we've been teaching a little bit? Is it a close-up? Is it a wide shot? Is it a medium shot? Is it a 2-shot? I don't think I saw any 2 shots, really, except from camera 4. We did see a lot from camera 4. which that's a whole nother beast. That camera being over there, it's a weird angle. Like, it would almost be helpful if it's like 10 feet closer to center.
Well, I jump on that. Like, thinking about those angles, like, you have so much ability to add dimension to what we're filming because 1 and 2 are straight on and they have a flat shot. But if we're just mirroring that flat shot of straight on from 3 and 4, we're not really using the versatility that they have of, say, covering the lead vocalist and getting that new side, which really, in the full perspective of what we're seeing, that really adds that dimension of, oh, there's a full room, rather than like, oh, we're just looking at straight on. And I think what I was seeing a lot of was it felt very flat because we had a lot of straight on shots from all 1 through 4 of we just see them straight on. So thinking about how you can take those different shots and be at an angle also helps our directors to be able to catch a moment from a different perspective and catch those other singers as well as the focal point, and just giving them room to artistically do their job in bringing people into the room while they're not there.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, I know we have broadcast cameras, but think of them more as like a cinematic thing, like Eli said with the dimensions. We had different layers to this stage. We have a front line, a mid line, and a back line. So camera 2, for example, if you have the straight center shot, you have people behind whoever your subject is most of the time. Like you have the bass player off to the left or piano player, and then so on and so forth. Rack that focus. Like, there's lots of stuff going on there. So if you want to pick up Eric in the forefront of your shot with a guitar player behind him, if you were to rack that focus, like, that's a whole nother shot to add to your vocabulary there. And now it's just a super cool because you're capturing more than just Eric there.
Right.
You have also that guitar player or wherever else shot you end up doing. But yeah.
Adding dynamics, looking at the camera notes on Planning Center, knowing the songs, knowing your shots. That's really what this comes down to. And then in terms of dynamics of songs, directors need to be watching, is my speed just a consistent linear line, or am I building with this?
Camera notes, they notate energy on there. It really is sort of like a linear thing. The song starts off, usually if it's a slower song, it starts off down, and then it just gradually picks up speed, not necessarily speed, but energy. And then by the end of the song, during the last chorus or bridge, like, it's lots of energy, like guitars are going ham, the drums are being hit by hammers. You guys know what I mean. It just, that energy can constantly build. So cameras and directors can both match that, whether it be speed of movements, whatever you're doing, like match whatever the musicians are doing on stage.
Awesome. Thanks for setting this up, Riley.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, guys. Until next time.
Peace.